friends, welcome to Databricks and Pyspark video tutorials. And in this continuous series I am going to give you complete information and detail about Spark SQL and Delta Lake SQL. Now primarily how to write a SQL queries and how to create a database and how to create a table and views and complete a database related operations in Spark SQL, the same way Delta Lake SQL. Okay, so for that I have created a few notebooks. So that continuous notebooks will have a complete DDL, DML, DRL, so complete command wise operations. So that notebooks will use in Azure Community Edition Databricks, where we can use those notebooks and we can practice in this. So if you don't have a Community Edition, try to register Community Edition. It is available now and you can register and it's free. So you can create one Community Edition and you can create one cluster and import notebooks using in import options. There is an import option in workspace. Recently they did some changes related to UI and the latest UI is different. So go to the left side window, you can find workspace, then right click, import. So import your notebooks, any notebook. So I have created one DBC file for complete Spark SQL, a combination of Delta Lake tables as well. Okay, just import this. So when it comes to database operations, so any database, any traditional database or big data database, so the common operations here, if you look at this is the common operations we will do. Those are DDL, DML, DCL and DRL. When it comes to traditional databases, we'll have a TCL as well, so transaction control. But when it comes to big data, so primarily we'll concentrate on this DDL, so data definition language. So data definition language means primarily creating database, creating views, creating tables. So these all will fall in data definition language like create, drop, alter, rename, truncate. Renaming databases, tables, dropping database, dropping view, dropping table, then truncate table, dropping view. So these all will fall in data definition language. And when it comes to data manipulation language related to data, how will insert the data, how will update the data, how will delete the data, those are insert, delete, update, and the combination of condition based multiple statements like insert or update or delete, which you can apply based on condition, that is merge statement. Then data retrieval. So data retrieval primarily will have a select statement where you can have a multiple classes. So those classes there like where class, limit and having, group by, so the multiple classes are available. So that also have created separate document for that. The many notebooks are available for data retrieval language. So but primarily we'll concentrate on DDL, then we'll move to DML, then we'll move to data retrieval language. Then when it comes to DCL, data control language. So data control language primarily we can use a grant and revoke, granting a particular user or particular schema. For example, if you want to grant some access to particular schemas or particular users, we can use the data control. So that also available in Spark and Delta Lake level, where database or user or schema we can grant and we can revoke. So grant is giving access, revoke means removing access. When it comes to transaction control, commit, rollback and save point, but these all are not available at big data level because primarily when it comes to file systems, big data we are storing in a file system. So file system dynamic mechanism will be there. The commit and rollback is different compared to traditional databases and Delta Lake. So Delta Lake is having one functionality where it can take care about a commit, like saving the data and managing the transactions. So you can ignore this TCL commands, commit, rollback and save point. Delta Lake is having a different method and different mechanism to control the data. Okay, let's start with today. First create a database. And when it comes to databases, so in Databricks you can find all the databases here in the data, and the default you can find one database called default. And if you are creating any database, that you can see all the databases here. Okay, and whenever you are creating a database in community edition or in Databricks original enterprise edition, what will happen? The data and the databases, metadata, everything will be there in workspace. Okay, or you can create a database in external location, that you can create a mount point, that will cover later. And anyway, this databases won't depend on cluster. So only whenever you are using, that time it will depend on cluster. And if you remove the cluster, the data and databases, everything will be available. You won't miss anything. So let's start creating databases. Go to workspace, DDL, and create database. So create database. First we'll assign this notebook to cluster. And first time whenever you're running, just a clear state and result. Any previous result in this notebook, that will be cleared and we can use that. Then syntax, create database or schema if not exist. If not exist means, so sometimes whenever you are creating, if database name already is available, it will throw error. So ignore it. Like if you don't want to raise any exception, if you want to ignore that, then you can use if not exist. Database name, you can provide the comments, and locations, location name where you can create that. Same thing, DB properties also you can provide that. So these are the parameters where you can use while creating a database: DB properties, database comment, and directory, this location where you can create that. Then while displaying information about your existing databases, you can use a describe or DAC with the database name extended. So it will give you complete information about your database. Let's start with that. Create database name. So just I am creating a database without a comment or without a DB properties. Then if you are trying to create it again, what will happen? It will throw exception. Why? Because we are not using if not exist. So because the database already created, it is available, you can verify that. So database is available. So if you want to create it again, but if available, you want to ignore that, then you can use if not exist option. If database is already available, it will ignore that. It won't raise any exception. You can see this now. Then you can verify this completed database information using DESCR describe database name, which I have already written here. Describe database extended means complete information it will give you. And whenever you are creating a database, default location, it will be created in Hive warehouse location. This is the Hive warehouse location, because whenever you are creating a database or table, so default nature in Spark and Databricks nature is it will go in inside Hive warehouse. Okay, so this is the default path. User Hive warehouse, under warehouse it is created one folder for this database. Okay, so you can verify in file system. You can verify using Databricks file system %fs ls user Hive warehouse. Inside warehouse you can find your database. Whatever we created, that database will be there in this location. This is the default location. Okay, you can say this. So whenever you use a describe, it will give you information about database name and the comment, location, who is created. So default it will create as a root user, because the Linux is having a root user, so it is created with a root user. Then so whenever you are creating a database, if you want to give a comments, so normally it is better to give a comments. If someone is coming and verifying the database, they will come to know when we are using this database, why we are using this database, why we are created this, which purpose we are using this. So just to give information, then other people, when any unknown people or any new person is coming to the project, so they will go through this comment section, they can verify that. So first we'll drop this database. So drop database name. So this is the database name, and you can use another option here, if exist. Drop database only if exist. If it is not available, you can ignore that. So if you're not using this option, what will happen? If database is available, it will drop the database. Then if you try to run again, because the database already dropped, it is not available, so it is throwing exception, there is no database. To ignore that exception, you can use if exists. So drop this database only if exists. If not available, ignore that. So if I run this, what will happen? You can see. So to running this, you can use this run cell command or shortcut control enter. Okay. Then I'm going to create a database again, and you can provide a comment, and this is customer database which we can use for storing customer information. So just I'm giving some comments. Then I'm going to create it again. So database is created. You can verify that DESC database name customer underscore DB. So describe, you can use DESC also you can use. So whenever you use a describe, you can see database name, and I gave a comment, that comment also you can see, and it is created in default warehouse location. Then no, I don't want to create in warehouse location. I have some data lake or blob storage where I can store in some external location. So that time you can go with specifying location option. So if you have mounted any database like any blob storage data lakes, then what you can do, you can go with that. So drop it again. So drop database name, then it is dropped. Then we can go with the location. So another parameter, location. So location, you can provide that any location. I'm going to create a temp, then databases. Then inside this I'm going to create customer underscore DB. So in this location I'm going to create this database. So it's created. You can verify this location is created or not. It should create this location. Okay, ls, it is created. Now it is available. You can verify that. So that location is available. So I created this database in some other location. So if you create any table, that table will point to in this location. Let's verify that. Create a table customer underscore DB dot dim underscore customer ID. Just I'm going to create one column, insert into cust values. Just I'm going to insert a few values. 3 records I'm inserting into this table. First it will create a table, then it will insert the records. We can verify this table is available or not. So 3 records are inserted. You can verify that. So anyway, SQL, directly you can run SQL queries. Three records are inserted. Now what we can do? We can verify in this location. So that's a database, and inside this hierarchical folder structure, always database, under database, if you are creating any table, under that one more directory it will be created. That's a table name. So in this table, inside this table you can find the files, and default it is created delta table. Whenever you are creating a table in Databricks, if Databricks runtime version is above 8.0, greater than 8.08x, then default it will create delta table. So while creating cluster, you can see this information. So Databricks runtime 8x uses default delta table format. You don't need to specify table format dynamically. Whenever you are creating a table, it will be created as delta table. Okay, so that if you want to know, you can verify that. How to verify that? Show create table. So create table will give you information about DDL. So that create table you can see using delta. So while creating table we not specified using delta, but default it is created delta table. Then if I want to drop this database, so you cannot drop directly. Why? Because so whenever you are dropping a database, drop database or schema database name. If exist also you can use cascade. So cascade primarily we will use for if database is not empty, we can use that. Let's look at drop database customer underscore DB. So this is the database which we created. So we are trying to drop this. So it is throwing exception. Why? Because it is not empty. One or more tables are available. So whenever you are trying to drop a database, this database, it is not empty. You can verify that. Sorry. So customer database is having one table called the customer. So what we can do whenever you're trying to drop a database, if it is not empty, you can use a cascade. So forcefully, or one option is first to drop the table, then drop the database. So if you have huge tables, then it is very difficult to remove all the tables. So you can go with a single option called cascade. So cascade will drop forcefully all the tables, then it will drop the database dynamically. So normally in production system we should not apply. Whenever you are doing this type of activity, be careful, because if you are trying to drop any database, you will use all the data, whatever tables are available. So only if you have a requirement, there is a mandatory requirement to drop the database, then only you can do this. Then I'm going to execute this command. Now so database is deleted. You can verify. So now nothing is available, only default database is available. Then if you try to drop it again, what will happen? It will throw exception because that database is not available. To ignore that, we can use if exist. Drop this database only if it is available, otherwise ignore this. If exist we can use while dropping. Creating we can use if not exist. So this way we can go for dropping databases, creating databases. Then so we specified a comment and we specified location. So same way we can go with specifying DB properties. So key value pair data set. So you can specify some key value pair data set, key and value. So I'm giving some key and value ID and name. So when creating this database, you can specify the DB properties. So that database created with the comment, location in this location, and with the DB properties. So you can verify this information using describe DESC database, then database name. So that you can see this database name and comment, location and owner. And so if you use extended, it will give a complete information. So we have already written that describe extended. So this is a different command, which different database which we created here. Describe extended, where we've written that database employees. So multiple examples have given there. Okay, customer database. So so whenever you use extended option, there you can see DB properties. So we created a two key value pair, ID and name, and that value 001 and Ravi. So this way, and the location also default it is created under user DBFS location. So this way we can create a database, and if you want to know how many databases are available, you can use a few commands related to databases. Show databases will give you available databases. So currently 2 databases are available. If you want to use this database, there is another command where you can use space database name, and this database will be used, and whenever you are creating any table, that table will go to this database. If I create any table, create a table, just a test, then id integer. I'm not specifying database name dot table name, just I'm specifying table name. So what will happen? Default it will goes to this database. Okay, so use this database means now this database we are using. So whenever you are creating any table, it will goes to that database. If you're not using default, it will create a database name called default. So under this, so now it is created under this database. Okay, so next video will understand how to create a table, how to create a view, the same way how to drop a database, table and view. Next we'll go through the alter table and constraints, and Delta Lake is providing options where you can use the 2 constraints, so that also we will cover that. So thank you for watching my videos. Please subscribe my channel to get more updates or related updates on my channel. Thank you very much.